Welcome to the Running Channel podcast with me, Sarah Hartley, sub 20-minute 5Ker.
Oh, hello. With me, Rick Kelsey, sub 20 to 30 5Ker.
And me, Andy Badley, former parkrun world record holder with 13:48, but actually I'm on 13:20 on the track. Don't want to miss that one out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, actually. You learn something new against the person you know the best every day.
Well, in this episode, we're going to be talking all about 5Ks, whether there's a wrong way to race a 5K, and we're also going to be debunking a few 5K myths later on as well.
Yeah, and we'll admit that the times that we've just reeled off that we have run aren't necessarily reflective of everybody out there, particularly people listening to this podcast who might think those aren't achievable, but we didn't get there straight away. Sarah, what was your first 5K time when you first ran it?
Somewhere between 40 and 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So we've tried and failed lots of different ways of running the 5K. And the point of this isn't to talk about the actual times that we've run. It's to talk about how to do it in the right way.
How to finish feeling happy. Rather than...
not to make the mistakes that we've made.
Yeah.
Why are you both looking at me?
Are we going to do anything else in the podcast?
No.
Oh, so we're not going to talk about running news or answer your questions?
Oh, we've got a very good question today, actually. Yeah. And it's all about times and whether you take the time on your watch or your official time when recording your records.
As per usual, Rick has absolutely no idea what he's talking about there.
Absolutely no idea.
Yeah. We'll go through that. Let's get into it.
Of course, Andy. I mean, there is... I would say your wife knows you better than me, so let's just clear that bit up first. And over the last few weeks, we haven't seen each other for a while. It's always nice to reflect on a new year.
Back after the
always
Christmas
nice to
New Year
reflect.
Oh, we got rid of the Christmas hat in the background.
Yeah, it's all gone.
We still had that in the 3rd of January.
And of course, we had Tom here for 1 week over Christmas, and then we had you. And you get some nice comments, and people reflect as they go into the new year about what they want from us.
Is this one? So just to let people behind the curtain, just as we were about to start recording, Rick was scrolling through something on his phone, and Sarah and I both looked over at him, saw the expression on his face, and went, "Oh,
it's the one he's doing now."
Yeah,
he's got
a little smug
smile.
face. Look at his like, oh yeah, his little giggle to himself. Right, go on, hit us with it. What have you found?
Well, I think you're brilliant, of course. Let's just start
right,
with
okay.
That's
just this one. Are we trolling
just this one from Sarova. Andy's off this week. A Tom Dunn episode. Tom is easily the best presenter. He easily rocks. He should have a spin-off on his own channel.
She should be like Joey from Friends.
Yeah, a bit so. And then this one, which really caught my eye. Really enjoying your content over the festive season. It's clear how the team got their jobs on the running channel. Andy and Sarah know a lot about running, and Rick, well, he knows Andy.
Well, I mean...
Have we ever talked about the fact that...
Nothing's more true than that statement.
There is a pilot episode of the Running Channel podcast which you weren't in.
That's really sad.
And me and Andy finished it and then went, there's something missing.
It was...
And who knew it was you?
Yeah,
I'm not sure we did.
It was never published. Actually, maybe it was published as part of... It's definitely available on the Running Channel Club. So if you did ever want to hear that, and that's a way of listening to that, it's very strange to listen back to.
I think I've got to listen. I don't think I've ever heard it.
Have you not?
No.
Go and listen to it because
Okay,
I
we'll
bet we haven't
you.
cut out the ums and ahs.
Okay, yeah. Tough gig. Has everyone had a nice kind of break from running, or have you been at it?
No. So just before we broke up for Christmas, I locked in Andy for some filming and also locked myself in for some filming. So we're recording this on a Monday, the 5th of January. Tuesday, the 6th of January, both of us, Andy twice, are doing all out 5Ks.
Is this tomorrow?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I thought it was Wednesday.
No.
Why?
Right.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Because, well, we're talking a lot about 5Ks at the moment. We've actually got a little bit of a campaign going on called Pledge a PB, where we're asking people to join us with some added motivation. Basically, pledge a 5K PB time. Could be an all-out PB, could be just getting a little bit faster to where you are now.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an absolute PB because otherwise I'm absolutely stuffed.
Yeah. Some say not trying hard enough.
Yeah, some might say that. I don't have to run all out, do I?
Well, you...
Yeah, 13:24.
We want to show what kind of all-out hard efforts look like. So we're doing one video where you're going to be talking through... I can't remember what we said.
Right? So I have to go slow enough that I can talk.
Was it sub-17?
No, it's not sub-17.
No,
I think that's...
Sub-18.
Yeah, I think sub-18 was the plan.
And then I also want to show what a all-out, on your red line 5K looks like. So over the Christmas period, I have been doing an intense period of training to see how close to 20 minutes I can get.
So do I have to do the first one where I'm talking on my own, and then do I have to do one with you, or are you just doing it on your own?
No, you're doing it with me.
How comfortable is that for you, Andy? Running
We'll find out tomorrow.
Sarah, a 20-minute.
20-minute pace,
Okay.
very comfortable.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference to then go to 18-minute pace or faster.
It's all right, you're doing that first.
Oh, yeah, so I time myself out first.
Yeah.
And then have I got to talk whilst I'm...
Yeah.
Okay,
well, I'm
good.
not going to be talking.
How close are you?
So I did.
It's also, I just think we should point out, it's -3 currently.
Yeah, really cold. I am going to go and check that we can actually.
And it's not too icy where we're going to
run. Yeah. So I did a workout. When I broke 20 minutes.
Everyone in Canada is currently booing, by the way. So.
Yeah, because they're like, oh,
it's so
hard for
cold.
these guys, and it's -3. Yeah.
Sorry, New Brunswick.
So I did a workout before I broke 20 minutes for 5K, and it was the workout that stuck out in my brain. It was an Andy Hobdell special.
Yeah.
And it was basically 400, 600, 800, 1K.
Oh, I saw you do this.
1200.
You smashed it.
One,
I'm giving the game away.
1 mile, and then 2 200s. And basically all of the paces are supposed to be at 3:45. Which I did not achieve. But I didn't achieve that the first time, but I was a little bit closer the first time. But I did that workout again. The course was a little bit uphill.
Yeah.
I will say. So I reckon I'm probably between 2015 and 2045.
I absolutely wish I should have consulted
Not far
my
off.
diary, because in my head I had an extra day of recovery, and I did quite a hard long run yesterday.
Oh, really?
Fine.
So you're not far off, Sarah.
No, I'm not far off, but I have pledged 1950, so I need to be
Is
closer.
that
But that's by the end of
achievable? Is
February.
it achievable?
That's by end of Feb.
Yeah.
I think that is achievable. I'm really enjoying getting back into some 5K speed, because I've been doing interval sessions throughout the whole of 2025, but I don't think I've really raced that much, or I haven't done that many races. So it's been quite nice to pick up some 5K speed. All the people at my running club were very shocked when I attempted the kind of 10K half marathon session at 5K paces.
Yeah.
Because that's stupid.
I was like, does anyone want to come with me for this one?
Well-
Well, it was 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1 minutes.
See,
Okay, yeah, that should be 10K pace, I reckon.
Yeah.
The
So
most,
we
yeah.
just started
Maybe half
at
marathon pace, yeah.
4:10 per kilometre and worked our way down to 3:30. I think it was fine.
And you did it?
Yeah.
Going 5, 5, 4, 4. That's amazing. I think you're in pretty good shape.
I think you're in surprisingly good shape. I think these pledges, because we've pushed ourselves, well, you and I have, don't know about Andy, so much. I think we really need to consider how we're doing this. So I'm not going to go to Hell's Fire and try and crack out a
You're going to find a
what's your-
5K downhill.
Yeah, what's your running looking like at the moment?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to etch it out and just go for somewhere really flat. And there's no, I can't just, start running unless I've got an Olympian with me and do a PB.
I'm not your Olympian of choice, am I, either?
No,
Steph
Kessel.
Yeah. Yeah. Very rude.
So I'll happily go to, your parkrun's quite hilly, isn't it?
Yeah, mine's very traily, but there are a few around me that are flatter.
So I'll go to somewhere that's flat
Yeah.
and optimal.
And how many days is it until the training plan starts?
I thought I'd etch this in your brain.
19th
Correct.
of January?
Yeah. It's not
So
far
you've got
now.
14 days before you start marathon
Yeah,
training.
I'm really going to enjoy those 14 days.
As opposed to the old time over Christmas and New
Well,
Year
are
when
there
you've been
any-
not enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Are there any other things that is coming about on day one of the training plan? Any other life alterations that you're making?
Well, I've got to try and blend this 5K plan, this 5K PB
Yeah.
into starting to train 3 days a week for the marathon on the 19th.
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
might be tricky.
Not the world's most compatible
No,
double
they're
goal,
not.
is it? So this is the perils of being on the running channel and being asked to get involved in our Pledge a PB. So if you are listening and you haven't signed up to it, it's completely free to sign up to the Pledge a PB campaign and take part. You can just have to say, I'm going to try and run this 5K time by the end of February. All the details on our website or in the show notes.
And if you do run it, we've
Yeah.
got some incredible prizes to give away.
Yeah, so just by pledging, I think you have a chance to get a bunch of discounts and deals and so on. And then, once you take it on and hopefully achieve it, because we'll be here to support you on it, then, there's a pretty epic prize or set of prizes.
Nice. How's your running been going?
Well, I did a beautiful long run yesterday. I did get a chance to look at some frosty fields.
Yeah.
I got to catch up with Andy Hobdell. He came over for a Sunday lunch with his family and our family, which is really nice. So
Has he not had enough of you recently?
well, I don't see him very often. We talk about him a lot. But he brought, and I went for a run with Ollie, his eldest,
Yeah.
who not that long ago was, toddling around at like training camps and stuff with me, but now he's 20, I think. And he and I went for a run, and Andy came out on the bike with us.
Nice.
And we got to about 45 minutes in, and I'd planned this route that was off-road but very runnable and cyclable. And Andy was hanging on the mountain bike because actually it was very hilly and quite tough trails. So then we aborted that route and went somewhere else. And I don't even know whether Ollie's going to listen to this, but I'm going to give him a bit of stick because he was pushing the pace for the entire run to the point where we're only 25 minutes in. I was like, Ollie, I can't do 90 minutes like this. just back off a bit, mate. And then we got to about 70 minutes, and then all of a sudden he sort of dropped behind me a little bit, and then he'd catch up on the flat sections. And I wasn't trying to drop him. We were running
crush
together.
His spirit?
I didn't try and crush his spirit, but he came alongside me the first time after we kind of regrouped, and he's like, I was just looking at the scenery. and then when we went up another quite big hill again, and he dropped back, I was like, no,
two Olympic Games, mate.
BS.
World record holder.
You've got
you quite enjoy that, don't you?
You can see the pleasure.
Joy in Andy's face. Still
spirit.
got it.
Crushed that 20-year-old spirit.
I feel like there's going to be a really lovely moment though, where at the moment you're kind of in the cross section of like you're hanging on. He's building up.
Yes.
What age do you think he's going to overtake you?
I think I was helped by the fact that he
relegated to the bike.
I've just been doing gentle, steady, easy runs over the whole Christmas period since my marathon, really. Whereas he'd run like 100 miles that week. So he's quite tired.
100 miles?
Also, he'd run a lot.
Oh my God.
He'd run a lot.
Yeah. That's what happened when I first started going to my running club. I had like dropped down, so I was only doing one interval session a week. And so I was like keeping up with really
pretty
fast
fresh,
people. Yeah.
And they're like, we're running 80k a week.
Yeah, they were all marathon training.
Speaking of crushing spirits, though, I had a first this weekend. And I'm going to caveat this before anyone complains that parkrun is not a race.
Yeah.
But the kids went to junior parkrun yesterday. First place finish for my middle child. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible. How many people were taking part?
I think it was quite a small one.
Right.
About 30.
It was just the 30 of Andy's kids taking part.
All your children.
They got first,
one.
Podium.
Second,
everyone got a podium. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
One's guaranteed every week.
But he did. He was absolutely buzzing, and I was more buzzing about how he told me about it afterwards. He was really excited, and he'd run. He didn't know what time he'd run or anything like that, so he didn't really care. He just had a good experience, and it was on a frosty field. And he's like, so I just ran really hard at the beginning. I was like, okay, and then I just ran with everybody else, and then when I could see the finish, I just sprinted faster than everyone else.
Like father, like son.
Yeah. Good lad.
Sit and kick. That's what it's called. Sit and kick.
Do you think that was a wrong way to run a race?
Hello. Oh, interestingly, because I was about to say, excellent segue into the topic of today's episode. I think that's exactly the right way to run a competitive 5K.
Yeah.
If you're trying to win the race, which the parkrun's not a race. But I posted something in the Running Channel Club just before Christmas, which was podcast bingo, and I wanted like listeners of the Running Channel podcast to say what things the three of us say that you'd have on your bingo card.
Oh, I did see this, and I read it and went, yeah.
Yeah, one of the number ones was Segway.
Was it?
Yeah.
Apparently yours is caveat.
Caveat. I do like to say caveat, mainly because
you have to caveat everything that Rick says.
Exactly. Rick will say some kind of pseudoscience nonsense, and I'll say, well, the caveat to that is that you don't know what you're talking about.
I think people come to this podcast and expect that, though.
Yeah.
And if you are new here, welcome. Rick knows nothing.
Yeah.
Andy knows a lot.
About running.
And I pretend to know a lot.
And my children are now at the age where they love this particular joke. I don't know if you remember this as a child. You say, what's your name? What's your name?
Oh, I know this. I'm not.
Sarah.
I get.
Okay, what's your name? Yeah.
Sarah.
Okay, what's this?
Nose.
What am I holding?
Nothing.
There we go. They love
Sarah
that.
knows nothing.
Yeah.
I literally get this twice a day.
Really?
That's just from
Daddy
me. Oh.
knows nothing.
That
You did that before school, and you're doing it after, and now it's bedtime, and now you're going to nursery. Stop.
Still funny though.
Yeah.
Still funny though. Do they
Still
do
funny.
do they do look up?
Yeah.
Look down?
Look down.
Charles is falling down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
It's like a whole new world.
Anyway, let's talk about
How to run a 5K.
Yeah.
So before we actually get into pacing the 5K itself, can we talk a little bit about before the race? Because this is something I've got wrong at many a 5K. Turns out, in order to run well and not blow up, you probably need to do a warm-up before you start the 5K.
I think so many people don't do it. I mean, let's
You
just take
included.
parkrun. No, I've started because
I told you
to. Just look at how many people do any form of dynamic stretching or a warm up before parkrun. But just having that small 100, 200 meter, 300 meter warm up can be so beneficial.
For most people, 5K pace is one of, if not the fastest pace that you ever run at. And so to think that you can just show up, particularly right now when it is cold, and yes, it's colder in Canada, but it's still pretty cold in the UK.
Chilly.
Yeah. And you can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to rock up in my clothes, and maybe you might take off a hoodie or a pair of joggers or something, and then just be like, yeah, I can now go from nothing to what's very close to my max pace in the first 10 seconds of a park
That's
run.
why it's quite good with a park run if the car park's quite far away, or you have to walk there, because at
That's
least
true,
you're doing
actually.
something.
At least you're getting your heart rate up a little bit.
Yeah. I always used to turn up late to Cannon Hill Park Run in Birmingham, and I used to be like, why are people running already? They're just tiring themselves out, as I was frantically running from the car park. But I think it did me good.
And there is a difference between heading to your park run on a Saturday and just running the 5K because that's what you want to do as part of your routine, versus what we're talking about today, which is trying to run your best possible, fastest possible 5K, and whatever that means to you relative to your own personal best. So those are two very different things. Going out and running 5K, it's fine. You don't necessarily need to warm up for that. But
all right, you're late. You got 5 minutes. You need to do some dynamic stretching. They've already started the announcements.
yeah.
What are you doing? Sweeping the chickens, swaying the legs?
Sweeping the chicken.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Is that a
hamstring
combination
sweep,
of a hamstring sweep and feeding the chickens?
Yeah.
Well, I think let's talk about ideal world, because I don't really want to do like the last minute. You've only got 5 minutes. I think you should have jogged before you do you might do a few gentle activations, like I do a few gentle squats and some sideways kind of crab walks. And then I might jog 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll do my like slightly more dynamic activations and stretches and movements and so on. This is like the ideal world. And it's that's not long. That's like a few minutes, then a 5 or 10 minute run.
What are you laughing at?
God, I'm just like, none of us were going to do that, Andy.
Well,
if you want to run your best 5K, then you will.
20 minutes of activity.
No, that's what I mean. In an ideal world.
I like jumping up and down. I feel like, and hear me out here. I feel like for me, the main reason I didn't want to warm up before doing a 5K is because I knew how tiring an all-out 5K is.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to tire myself out beforehand. Same reason I'm slowly trying to persuade Tom to do dynamic warm-ups. And he's like, I can't do any of the hopping ones because it makes me really tired and then I don't want to run.
Yeah, I don't think you should be hopping without having like done a jog or anything like that. That sounds like
so a little
biometric. Probably shouldn't be doing them at all.
Well, a little jog to warm up. Then once you've got your heart rate up, to use the ramp method of warming up, raise. Then what's A?
Activate.
Mobilise, potentiate.
Potentiate, yeah.
Doing some like hopping on 2 feet, then A skips or B skips.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant like hopping and bounding and stuff. Like
A skips.
No.
A
Just
skips.
anything. Yeah, A skip. So you're like bringing.
So A skips are high knee.
Time.
So if you imagine doing a walk, like exaggerated walk with high knees, where you're bringing up your knee and thigh to parallel to the ground, and you're pulling your toe up to your shin. That's an A walk. Then A skip is doing that with a skipping cadence.
So it's like high knees in a skip.
Yeah. And then the B, excuse me. And the B skip is the same, except you kick your heel and foot out forwards to extend your hamstring in the same movement. So you don't keep your shin kind of parallel with your upper body. You kick it out a little bit and then claw back and pull to make a foot contact directly underneath your body. So these are all like
still
progressing dynamic movements. Yeah.
And reminding your body of what it needs to do when it is running fast. So even like some squats help to activate your glutes.
Yeah.
What about holding the
posterior
squat?
chain? Yeah. No, I wouldn't be doing that.
No.
You wouldn't hold it? Oh, I've been doing that every week recently.
Why?
Sorry, you're doing
I thought
like
someone
a wall
told me to do it.
before.
I said like sitting down in a squat.
No, just squat.
Just go down
to where it feels
spot.
comfortable, then come
back up. So don't
That's
just
what you
sit
need to
there.
do.
And think about squeezing your glutes and keeping your knees out as you do it.
Yeah, you're just waking your body up, reminding your body what it needs to do.
We've got loads of videos on the running channel about exactly this and the different drills that you could try. But that's part of it. So you do need to do a proper warm up. But the most important part of the warm up for the 5K, this is what I'm saying, is that if you're going to run your best ever 5K, then you're going to be heading out at a pace which is pretty much your max pace. And we're going to be uncomfortable right from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So doing strides is to me is vital. I couldn't run a good 5K without doing strides beforehand, and those strides should be as fast, if not faster, than your 5K.
And that's
so when you say doing strides, you mean
30 seconds.
Four lots of 100 meter acceleration runs where you jog into them and then accelerate harder. The first one you do, you shouldn't go all out because it's the first thing that you've done since your activations, and then over the course of 4 of them, you want to make sure that by the 3rd and 4th one you're at least 5K pace, if not a little bit quicker, and we've talked about this. I don't think we've talked about it for a while. There's something called VO2 kinetics, which is how fast your body gets up to speed in terms of its physiology of actually delivering the oxygen where it needs to go and all that sort of stuff. And it takes a little while when you start a hard 5K for your body to kind of catch up. So you'll see, if you look at your heart rate, for example, it takes a couple of minutes for your heart rate to get up to the level it's going to stay at for the next 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever it is you're running for the 5K. But if you do a sort of 30 to 40 second stride, instead of just the 100 meter stride, if you do at least one, if not two, and it's the last thing you want to do by Sarah's logic, because it feels like it's going to tire you out.
Okay.
And you probably want to do it 5 or 10 minutes before you're actually going to start.
Will
the
they
5K.
always feel good?
No.
Fine.
They're horrible, actually, when I do them sometimes.
So it's like the final shakeout run before like
exactly,
a longer
exactly.
race.
And you're going, oh my God, I can't do this. But for those, you want to run at that kind of pace that you're going to be trying to maintain for the 5K for 30 to 40 seconds, because that then potentiates, I guess, your body. Like you're ready to then go and run hard when the gun goes, if it's a race, or the person says go if it's park run. And that gets you more ready. I used to do it before the 1500 meters in the mile and the 5K on the track. It does make a big difference.
Okay, let's get into during the race. Yeah. So split that up into 3, start, middle, and the last couple of Ks.
Worst thing you can do, go off too fast.
Well, yeah.
There's no recovering. Unless you go off so fast. No, you just can't.
I think you can bank roughly 2 to 3 seconds in that first kilometre, because that's what I did for you in your sub 20 minute 5K. And you shouted
when we ran 2020. Yeah, I remember that one.
Banking it.
Look, tomorrow when we go off, I will have strict pacing instructions.
Yeah, fair enough. I think you want to be within a few seconds of the target time.
Yeah.
You probably are better off being a couple of seconds too slow than 5 or 10 seconds too fast. But it's very hard to do. Everyone goes off really fast, really hard. And also, you don't know what their race strategies or fitness levels are. So if you're not on your own, then you are going to be influenced by the people herring off at the start.
It's also really hard, I find, to get up to pace. Hopefully, like in your 5K training, you will have practiced race pace a lot. But for some people, it might be that you've just practiced kind of running hard, and there might be a few seconds difference in what your final 5K time might be. Yeah,
and there's so many people who are more familiar with half marathon than the marathon, and therefore those paces. And like I said, 5K just feels so fast.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm coming at running from the other end of that spectrum. And so I have to pull everything back to run a marathon or a half marathon, because it's more comfortable for me mechanically to run a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But then what no one is used to, and even me having done it for 20 odd years, like 5Ks are hard in a different way to longer distances.
Yeah.
And so actually in the first 2 or 3 minutes, everybody's thinking, I can't do this.
Yeah.
This is too fast.
There is
and I'm uncomfortable.
There is a line though where you can cross over into like you have gone too hard in those. Even in that first 30 seconds, I feel like the best 5Ks that I've run where I don't get to the end and feel absolutely horrendous is when I've eased into it, even just like a tiny bit, rather than like going out, looking down at your watch and being like, whoop, 30 seconds too fast.
Yeah.
Let's slow down a little bit.
Rick's parkrun strategy.
Yeah. How's
guilty.
that going?
Well, I don't think it's as bad that having that strategy as for a 5K as it is for longer races, because I'm with Andy. I like to have that bank, because I look at the course of my 5K and I know that I'm going to fall back, because the 3rd K is mostly uphill of the 5K that I do the most.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I feel like I'm going to bank some seconds on the 1st K, which is flatter and has more downhill.
Don't lump me in with you there. I'm not saying you should bank time.
Are you caveating?
But you did. Did you caveat?
No, I'm saying I was taking the mickey out myself, because Sarah always jokes that I went 3 seconds too fast when I paced her for this 5K.
Yes.
But I think if you're in the range of like 1 to 5 seconds,
which is fine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But you're banking 30 seconds.
We're talking about a whole kilometre as well. Because have you ever done like an interval session where it's kilometre reps and you absolutely hammer it in the first 400 meters and then just really slowly fade to the end? I think that's an interesting thing to think about in training.
Slow fade at the end.
Yeah, because you can still end up with, like, let's say you're running kilometre reps and you need to average 5-minute kilometres. You could absolutely hammer it at like 4:40 pace for that first 500 meters and then really slowly fade to like 5:20, 5:25, even 5:30 for the latter half of that kilometre rep and still end up bang on 5. But then if you then apply that pacing strategy in a 5K, you're really going to hit trouble, because you're tying together all of those reps.
That's a great point, because I would say that a lot of local running clubs and you have people have their routes and they've always got funny names and stuff, right? Like so-and-so's hill or whatever it is. That's my experience of it. And yes, if you were doing 8 times 3 minutes, it's you've got a very specific, you go from this lamppost to that shop front or that pub or whatever, and it's like that's our 1K rep, or we're going around the housing estate, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I would say that without a shadow of a doubt, people are doing what you're saying. So if they're doing K reps, their first few hundred meters is so much faster, but then they end up at the end with the total distance covered in the right amount of time.
Yeah. Then you look back on Strava and you go, nailed it.
Yeah. Whereas if you were doing it on the track, I would be looking at my splits every 200 or 400 meters, and you can't run uneven in that way.
No, completely. But I feel like this jumps ahead slightly, but this does feed into the myths about 5K and 5K pacing. So you don't need a pacing strategy because 5K is a short distance.
That's the myth we want to debunk, yes.
Yeah, but
it's probably more important.
Well, that was what I was going to ask. Is pacing of 5K more critical than any other distance?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so, because
there's so little room for error.
Yeah.
As we showed by going 3 seconds, I probably wasn't in sub 20 shape on that day.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot mentally working against me, but those 3 seconds made all the difference.
Yeah, and if you do think about over a marathon as well, if you're talking about 3 seconds, then that's over 120, 130 seconds. That's 3 seconds a kilometre over a marathon is 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So they seem small, but and over 5K it's 15 seconds. So there is a big difference there. So I think it's not so much pacing strategy, I think, as pacing accuracy and consistency and sort of being strict with yourself.
Yeah,
that's interesting. You just said the word that I was going to ask you about. You said pacing accuracy. So over Christmas on one of the shows, we talked about how during a marathon, if you're running a lot longer than actually, say your target pace is 5:48, actually you might have to run 5:45 or 5:44 because you're going to be running an extra 600 meters. You're not running an extra 600 meters in a 5K.
No,
so the accuracy is tighter.
You might end
but
up
I'm
running
talking about
a
your own
little
accuracy
bit
of
over.
judging it, because you inevitably, let's talk about the reality of what's going to happen in this 5K. The first 2 or 3 minutes, you're probably going to go a little bit too fast for most people because you get swept away in the excitement. Then you settle back onto the pace that you want. And then what can happen is what Sarah's talking about. Is you get to the first split, you look at your watch, and say you were trying to run a 5-minute first kilometre. You go through in 5 minutes, but your first 2 or 3 minutes were too fast, which means that the last 2 minutes that you've just run, where you've settled onto that pace, are now too slow. So then if you were to carry on at that pace, your next kilometre is not going to be 5 minutes. It's going to be 5:10 or 5:20. So that's the bit that's hard. And then it's, so I would be making, and this is what I think we did, Sarah. I know you won't believe me on this, but I think if we were a few seconds too fast in the first 300-400 meters of your first kilometre, I'd make a strong argument that you're better then for the remainder of that kilometre to settle into what is actually, you wanted to run 4-minute pace.
Yeah.
And then end up 3, 4, 5 seconds too fast in that first kilometre, but be running your actual race pace.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to get there and then you're going to have to feel like a surge or push to go back onto your race pace through that first kilometre.
I think the thing that I always hang on to with 5K pacing as well is that no matter what happens in kilometre 1, then you have to think about it as you are mentally going to negative split that 5K, even if you run the most even splits in the world, because kilometres 2, 3, 4 and 5 will feel harder and harder and harder and harder, and it's going to be harder to maintain the pace that you're running. So you just need to think like, okay, I want to run 5-minute kilometres in kilometre number 3 and kilometre number 4. That's going to feel like I'm running 4:45 compared to kilometre 1.
I think in your mind, you need to be going first 2 kilometres, try not to think about it too much. And the more that you do think about it, the more you need to bring your thoughts back to other stuff. So think about your cadence, your foot contact, your posture, your breathing, all that sort of stuff that distracts you.
Yeah.
And think about getting to the next tree and the next lamppost or whatever it might be. Get through 2 kilometres without worrying too much, trying to be as steady and consistent as you possibly can. And then just know in that 3rd and 4th kilometre, particularly the 4th kilometre, you're going to have to go up a notch. Like you're going to have to go up at least, so say you're operating at like 8 out of 10 effort, you're going to have to go to 9 out of 10 just to maintain the same pace. And you have to accept that, because that's a horrible feeling, because it's not like kicking at the end to do a sprint finish. It's like, I'm going to have to dig even deeper now just to not slow down.
And then
which
the 5th?
is a kick in the guts, isn't it? And then the 5th one, I think mentally that's easier, because you're into that last kilometre, but kilometre's too long to sprint. So you've got to be thinking, I'm going to get through the first 600 metres of this or the first 500 metres of this. Then you're really picking up the pace, thinking, well, like, I'm definitely going to finish. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to like slow down so much now. So then it's like in that last 500 metres, that's when you can start to pick the pace up. If you've got anything left.
Yeah, well, that's what's interesting. With a 5K, I feel like there are a lot of people who really struggle with like kilometres 3 and 4 and then have the wildest sprint finish in the last 200 metres. That probably shows that you have got more to give in those 3rd and 4th kilometres. Potentially, if you're able to do the world's best sprint finish, have you gone off a little bit fast? Then you faded and then you've come back in.
That's the thing that differentiates the world's best athletes, is that they'll hurt themselves in that 3rd and 4th kilometre and the first half of the fifth kilometre when they don't want to do it, because that's when they're saying to themselves, that's my opportunity to run faster than I ever have before. Because if you don't do that, you can't do it.
But my mind's telling me no.
But my body is telling me yes. Can I pick up on a couple more myths?
Yeah, go.
So you must carb load like a marathon before a 5K race.
No, but do remember to fuel if you are going all out. Again, I think it's an easy thing to say, like, oh, I don't need to warm up, it's only a short race. Oh, I don't need to worry about pacing, it's only a short race. Oh, I don't need to fuel, it's only a short race. Like, do everything in your power that you can do to help you, because then when it does get really hard, you've set yourself up for success rather than failure.
Is a gel useful on a 5K?
I mean, it's useful if you've if you're feeling like you haven't had enough fuel, but I don't think that a gel is necessary at all. I think just eating the correct breakfast, if it's a morning,
at the right time,
because if you're doing what I'm saying, which is warming up for at least 20 minutes or so beforehand, then you've got to work back from, so I'd be saying, if I'm starting my warm up probably half an hour before, 25 minutes before, then I need to be probably last thing I'd do that before I'm putting on my shoes and taking the kit off that I don't want to warm up in is going to the toilet. And then working back from going to the toilet, then I've driven there or had to get to the location. And then before that, it's eating. Yeah. So it's would I take a banana with me because I'm going to get there early and then have a banana an hour and a half before or an hour before?
I just always envisage this shoot. I can't remember what the video is called. Maybe we'll put a link in the description that we did with Sean Second, where we put out the food you should eat before and after, even for a 5K. And it was just etched in my mind, white bread before, brown bread after.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want too much fibre that's going to be causing digestive discomfort. And it depends entirely on the timing. Like stuff the closer it is, then the easier you want to digest it and the more quickly you want to access that fuel.
Okay, another myth. Following the pace of the front pack guarantees a fast finish.
If you can keep up, yes.
I think this is like, if you're trying to be competitive and win a race or win your age group or win something like that, and there's a group of people, you obviously can't win the race unless you're at the front and keeping up with people. And the difference on the track is that people will know their 400 meter split, so they'll tend to run more evenly. Whereas what we've said, I would say cross country and 5K on the road, people are quite likely to just go off faster than they actually want to or need to, just from the competitive element of it.
Yeah. Also, depending on, like, if you are in the Olympics, you obviously know that the people around you are kind of best in the world. They know exactly what they're doing.
And you're there because you want to beat them, so like you don't have any choice but to keep up and to go with it. But
at a kind of more amateur level, I've been in plenty of races where I've made the decision, I've like looked around, chatted to people before and said like, oh, what are you going for? Especially when I did like all of the different races that I did to try and break sub 20. There were some races where I'd chat to someone, said like, oh, you going for sub 20? Yeah, bam, off we go. Well, they're running 3:40 pace. Yeah. That's not going to help me. Yeah. So I've stuck back and then eventually have overtaken them because they've done it wrong. So I'd say like, don't necessarily trust that pack
don't trust the pack's timing.
I guess I'm saying that the only time that this really applies is if you're trying to if you're almost like time agnostic and you just want to be competitive and try and challenge for being competitive and trying to win either a race or a duel with other people around you, and that matters to you, like a club championships, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But yes, 99% of the time, the best advice is run your own race and then fixate. I had a guy in Valencia who had a grey vest on, and I just was fixated on him for the whole. I was like, don't let this invisible.
What happened to him?
Oh, he beat me by a couple of minutes.
Oh.
I was hanging on to him until I had cramp, and then he got away from me.
That is a great strategy, though, in that 3rd and 4th kilometre. Just hold
fixate
the pace,
on something.
Fixate on something, don't let it go away.
Yeah, and imagine that invisible rubber band that you're not elastic band that you're not allowing to break.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowing it to stretch a little bit occasionally, but you're focused on that.
I reckon there's a little bit of truth in this one. If your training went poorly, you can still try and wing it.
No.
Depends how poorly and when and in what way it went poorly.
Because like Jakob Ingebrigtsen at the World Champs in Japan last year, his training went poorly. He still turned up.
Yeah, and it went terribly.
Oh yeah.
It depends. Like,
But he
it
still
depends
turned up. He
what
still
you
got to the
mean.
World Champs. So he still competed in another World Champs.
Yeah, but
I don't think a 5K will keep you honest, and it will demonstrate whether you've whether the training's gone well enough for the time that you want to get.
Yeah, but look at George Mills at the World Champs. His training went amazingly. Championships didn't go so well.
Yeah, I don't really know what there's a lot of whataboutery, I think. Like,
That's a true point. Yeah. Your training can go really well and the race cannot go well.
Oh,
but that is the beauty of...
Honestly, are you okay? I can barely recognise him on the other
just...
side of the cameras with his tan, his Australian tan.
He's freshly back from Australia.
And his waxed eyebrows.
That is one thing about 5K though, is that you can have multiple goes at it, which is why I love it a little bit more than a marathon, because every all-out race that you do, ultimately it is a bit 50-50, whereas at least with a 5K, you can reset, a few weeks later, go again. In a marathon, it's like, cool, see you in 3 months.
Yeah, that is true. Well, at least.
Yeah.
In my case, 9 years.
Yeah.
Have we got one final myth?
I think that's a special case. Yeah, final myth.
Trying out new gear or nutrition on race day will give you an edge.
Yeah, an edge to be the fastest one to the Portaloo, potentially, if it goes badly.
Yeah. So we'd always say nothing new on race day. I do think that 5K is the lowest risk for things like shoes and things like that, because you're not running very far in them. So a brand new pair of super shoes or fast shoes is probably okay, but 5K is definitely far enough to still get a pretty nasty blister and things like that. And if that, it depends on how important this race is to you. And like, I've had to do it. I've had to wear new shoes on race day before, because a week before my race, like I've either lost the shoes in like traveling, or I had a pair of spikes that snapped.
Ooh.
And then became
snapped
because they have a plate, like the plastic plate at the bottom when I was running.
What, during the race?
Yeah, it must have snapped in the race. And then when I've gone to like do some strides in them the week before the race, I'm like, oh, these are broken. Then I've had to get a new pair of spikes in time for the race. So, but I was only running 1,500 meters. So the risk of wearing brand new spikes was
Did they have your name etched on the side?
My spikes did have the ones that, they're not in the podcast set anymore.
Oh,
they had badders on the back and the Union Jack.
I love that.
Hopefully that has helped people feel a bit better about 5Ks. I'm feeling quite motivated to run.
Yeah, so am I actually after that. We've got an absolute belter of a question today, but I do think we have some running news.
Yes, we do. We've got a couple of things, and we tried to keep them 5K related and mainly parkrun related, actually. So Innes Fitzgerald, who is a young phenom, is what they would say in the US, isn't it? But she's from the UK, over 5K. She's just broken the world record, the women's fastest time for parkrun.
Say that again. What?
Phenom.
I don't know what's happened.
As in phenomenon.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you. Back in the room.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Absolutely no idea. I think that's the first time Andy's known a word that we haven't.
Yeah. Good.
Is it?
I don't know.
As in not an intellectual word, but like a down with the kids word.
Yeah, exactly. Down with the kids word.
Okay.
I'm glad that I pulled him up on that, because I'm not sure if you were going to.
No, I wasn't.
No.
I was just like, yeah.
Oh, right.
Was
it just ticking?
I do that a lot.
Was it ticking to see if it clocked?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Andy. Go ahead.
Okay.
She's run the fastest park run.
15:27.
Oh.
Was this on New Year's Day?
I don't know exactly what day it was.
Yeah.
New Year's Day, we think. Yeah. 15:27 broke the old record of 15:31. Innes Fitzgerald is coached by Joe Pavey and her husband Gav Pavey. So I was on teams with Joe, phenomenal athlete who won European medals.
Phenom.
Usually.
Phenom. Do, 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 do. Phenom.
Oh, wow. Good.
Sorry.
I need to dig out some more slang, don't I? I can't do it. I haven't got enough riz.
My God.
That. No?
No.
Okay. So she ran 15:27, coached by Joe Pavey, who won European medals on the track in her early 40s, I think. She was incredible.
Nice.
And has had lots of success on the track and cross country. So I personally think it's amazing to have athletes at that level running parkrun.
Imagine being at that parkrun. That must be so cool. I hope it was a lapped course.
Oh,
I just want to see. It's like if you do a marathon and like the front of the pack comes past you on the other way. I love that.
I reckon that's my forget times or turning up or finishing. I reckon that's my number one aim at parkrun.
To lap someone.
No, not to be lapped.
Not to be lapped.
Yeah.
Well, I
know there's nothing wrong with being lapped, but I am just personally a little bit fearful of it.
Well, I I have been fortunate enough to be in parkruns where there's 3 or 4 laps, and then I have gone past people, and I quite enjoy the kind of the shock in a nice way. You just hear lovely. Sometimes people will swear because they like you take them by some, bloody hell,
you crush their spirit.
Yes, probably have crushed their spirit a little bit, but most of the time you get a lovely people who are also trying their hardest saying oh, well done, or oh my goodness, or often people running with their kids for the first time and the kids going, what's that person doing? And the parents going, well, they've done another lap. They're like, that's the person who's leading.
This gives me flashbacks to when we did parkrun in Tokyo, and Tom, Andy went past Tom on this really warm morning in Tokyo. Then Sarah went past Tom. And I went past Tom, but Tom didn't see me go past him. So on the finishing line, he was just shouting abuse at me, swearing, going, "You cheat! You cheat! Rick, you skipped the lap. You skipped the lap." And I went past him on the last corner and he didn't notice.
Oh.
Yeah. But there
That's
you go.
what you said. That was your story.
Well, that was true.
But there was also an interesting one.
Have a look at my times.
I saw, I think, a TikTok video from a professional triathlete who'd gone to his local parkrun to try and break the course record. And I'd had someone on the bike pacing. And then his result wasn't in the final results.
Oh, right.
And he thinks he was disqualified from some comms he'd see. Like, I think he'd been exchanging messages with the organisers. They'd told him that if he had a friend on his bike kind of pacing him and filming him, then he'd be disqualified. So I don't know exactly what the facts are.
Oh, I see.
But when I did my Bushy Park record back in the day, Andy was on the bike. Not at the beginning, to be fair, because the start of that was so busy with 1,000 people there. He only joined me after about a kilometre when I was on my own.
The issue here is that he was on the bike on the course with the runner, whereas with you,
and
Andy,
filming as well.
And Andy was just at a distance on a bike shouting.
Andy was with me, but also I don't know any of the details of this really. I just saw it and thought it was something we should mention when we're talking about parkrun. But when Andy did it with me, it was one big loop, and so once I was ahead of everyone else, there was no interference. He wasn't getting in anyone's way.
It's a hard one because the parks are also are open to users, but then equally you don't know what the course is like if it's lapped. If people are filming, then that's hard.
Yeah.
Right, questions and a massive debate. Sam Reevely. Hi. Literally, he's serious from the start. Is Sam a boy or is Sam a girl? I'm not sure. Just wondered if you guys would like to give your take on the official Marathon Time Integrity Unit Instagram page on the podcast.
I do enjoy when you read these out and you just sort of add punctuation in various different bits.
Thank you. Essentially, the team behind the page go through the race times people post online and compare them to their actual verified race time. So far, most of the content has called out influencers and online PTs that have claimed their watch time over their chip time on social media. In some cases, people have exaggerated their times wildly. In others, it's only a minor discrepancy, but it makes a huge difference when someone is claiming an achievement they haven't reached. In one case, someone would won a race, but was still claiming a watch time that was much quicker than chip time. I personally think it's fantastic. We've got someone bringing a bit of integrity to the sport as it grows, highlighting that you should be proud of your actual achievements and not bow to social media pressures to keep up with the Joneses and inflate it. Cheers, Sam. Sam, that is an absolute banger.
So good.
So for anyone who hasn't seen this Instagram account, they should check it out. It is quite entertaining, and every instance that they've investigated, in inverted commas, is put together like a case file from the police, or from some kind of true crime show.
Yeah.
And to be clear, what we're talking about here, this is what they've set out to look at is it's not just watch time over chip time, because that sounds like, if I start my watch when I start my marathon or my 5K and I stop my watch when I finish it, there's no way that can be more than a few seconds out. Just because I've started it as I've crossed the mat and I've stopped it when I've crossed the mat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not really what we're talking about here. But even if I was 2 or 3 seconds out, I would still take the chip time. I would take the race time, even if it was slower, because that's the factual time. I think what we're talking about here is when people do one of a few different things. It's mainly claiming by watch time, like Strava time, or Strava distance. So in fact, my Valencia marathon's a really good example. My marathon PB on Strava is showing as 2:48 because that's the time at which I crossed 26.2 miles during my Valencia marathon. Mm-hmm. But my Valencia marathon time was 2:50.07, so there's a minute and a half. Because
you had 400 meters to go.
Yeah, because hadn't finished the course because of either GPS drift or just not quite following the racing line and so on. But I wouldn't have claimed to have run 2:48, and actually I probably need to adjust my Strava activity to tell it that it was an official race, and then it will make the change.
I think some people are actually like trimming their Strava
activities
as well.
Or pausing their watch when they like go to the toilet, or not completing the course would be the ultimate like cheating. That's like inexcusable if you're claiming that you've run a marathon and you haven't actually run.
But this is madness. So essentially, there are people who are between 400 and 600 meters as an average of what you might go over on a marathon compared to the time.
That's our kind of best guess, just anecdotal.
There are people who are basically 600 meters from the line stopping the watch because it says you've run a marathon.
Well, yeah, and claiming that as their finish time. Or there are people that are pausing their watch during the race if they stop to go to the toilet or whatever. And then so what this Instagram account is calling people out for saying, I've run a 2:59 marathon, but then actually their results in the official race say that they ran a 3:20
I think fair play to them. I think fair play to this account. But what I suppose is the weird bit that's kind of going on here is that there are levels to it on there. So you can stop it when you've done a marathon. But actually, in your case, Andy, and in Strava, it'll still show your activity as whatever your time was.
Yeah.
But it's more the badge of what it
says
it might pop
that
up and say, can do your record.
It'll say Andy ran a PB in the marathon, and then if you click that, that's going to say 2:48, which isn't my marathon time. That's just what time I went through the marathon distance on Strava.
I think some people.
But that's just default. Sorry, that's default. So that's not the issue.
No, the difference would be if I then took a screenshot of that and claim that as my marathon time
which
and put it on Instagram.
Yes.
Which I think a lot of people are doing, because there are some races where you just instantaneously get your result. There are probably smaller races that some people are doing where you might have to wait a little while in order to get your kind of chip time.
Yeah.
If you're starting in different waves, then the clock that is on the finish line might not be accurate to what you've actually run. Either way, though, I think clearly there's like a pressure on social media to run specific times. So many people now, we've talked about before how it seems like everyone and their mum has run a sub 3 hour marathon. Not true.
No.
But I think there is a lot of pressure, and some people are succumbing to the pressure. But this account is really keeping people honest, which is quite nice. I also saw linked to this, there are quite a lot of downhill marathons.
Oh, there's one in Spain that's called like the world's fastest marathon. It's like 5% gradient for 26 miles.
Yeah,
something like that.
But there are quite a few, I think, in like America where it is net downhill, but not that many people know it's net downhill. So I have seen a few people calling people out for like, yeah, well done, you've run your fastest marathon ever. You took 20 minutes off your time. It was net downhill. Because in the elite world, that wouldn't count as like a qualification race.
No,
whereas
I don't think so.
In the amateur world, these races exist, so people are going and running it and getting super fast times. It's hard.
That's a nuance that's challenging, isn't it? You have run the distance there, and it's like. But
you've run it downhill.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for
but
it.
You're only
when you
cheating
see
yourself.
my 18-minute 5K time and I've run downhill with my dog attached to me, don't come for me, guys. I'm just using the tools at my disposal.
Well, it's worth a look at the account, and I think the point here is it's if people are claiming from a publicity perspective to have done certain things, you know, as an influencer or someone who's like prominent in the running space. That's what, to my knowledge, this account, like I'm not across
it's
every
keeping
single
people
person.
honest, especially people who are potentially using their time to like promote a service or a product.
Yeah.
You want to have all of the facts, and that is what this account is doing.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm really here for the drama.
There's a lot of drama in there. Yeah,
love the drama.
And there's a lot of like the people who are being
drama.
called out, then like blocking the account, or even just turning their own Instagrams private, or like deleting their Instagram accounts or whatever. So
be good to know your thoughts. podcast@therunningchannel.com. Well, that was fun. Good to see you two again.
Good to see you guys, and we'll see you.
It's a long one, wasn't it?
That was a long one.
Oh well.
Rick's got a
breaths.
lot of work to do, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.